Hello, hello everyone. This is Nelson Guevara, and I'm going to be sharing with you a few of the websites that I'm using to find resources for the action research plan, the project, and a few of the things that I'm encountering in the process. I thought it would be uh, better for me at least to just make a video so that the information that I share is more clear, as opposed to trying to organize the links. I can just show you in the video, so hopefully this will be good. So the first website that I want to show is, of course, the university's database. It's one that it's been updated recently, and I like the new look. And so one of the topics that I'm interested in is, in general, technology and learning, how it affects learning, how websites that are very popular now in school districts, and also for teachers really like nowadays, Kahoots, Bluecats, Quizlets, Quizzes, all of these websites that we use in the classroom, and how they affect learning, if they do anything, if they do any good, or are they not what we think they are. So that's one of the areas. In general, there's a lot of things to it, but in general, that's one of the topics that I'm interested in. So I typed that in, and when I go onto this new interface, or the way that it looks like now for the university's database, I put in my filters, which I did in advance. I click on peer review, which I'm sure many people know how to do. Then I go to source types. I click on academic journals. So that's the basic steps. And that gives me a good amount of articles still. It says 7,500 or so. And I can click on any of this. I found that a lot of the times it's going to redirect me to another database, like ERIC, the government's database. But if database looks credible, I still, I just go with that. I just trust that. But people can give me an advice that they have if, I'm not 100% certain. I'm not an expert researcher. So, but yeah, this is how I usually do it. And then this is one of the articles that I was looking into. If I click on that, sometimes it gets me the abstract. Sometimes I have to go to the other database, and then I can see the information. The publication date is just from last year. It says it's a journal article. The abstract is right there. And so yeah, I would look at that information. I would try to see if it's from a journal. This says it was published in this journal just recently. And the other thing that I like to do is to somehow figure out who these people are, who the authors are, what's their affiliation, what's their credentials. I found this link. I don't know if it's always been there. It's just that now the database looks a lot cleaner, and I just noticed that it's here. It looks like this website, this ORCID, is a website where researchers and professors, people involved in writing and reviewing articles, can put their credentials into, so that people can, like us, we can check, just basically make sure that we're finding people that have good credentials. So if I click on this one says it's from a PhD student, and it's from this university. I can look up that university, and then it gives me a couple of links. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and then depending on how that goes, I just keep searching, or I'll just try to find a different article. So this one seems to work. It's from that university. That's a student, so I'm assuming these two people are the professors who reviewed the article. And so if I click on that, it's also going to give me their information, hopefully. And yeah, this one seems to have so this one says it's a professor at the same department at that same university. It gives me a couple of links. Again, they don't always work, but at least I have some information, the universities and the person's name, so I can Google search that too. So I found that useful. One of the things that I haven't found useful is that if I try to find out more about some of these authors in this area of interest that I have, it seems like it's fairly new. I'm not sure. Most of the articles are from abroad. They're from other countries, not from the US. So there's not a lot of articles from the US, so sometimes I'll find websites that are completely in a different language that just even I, as a person who knows Spanish, I have some basic understanding of other Romance languages like Portuguese and Italian, but I have no idea of like Serbian or other languages like those. So if I click on, I think it was this one that I clicked on. Let's see. Oh, here, show more detail. Yeah, so if I click on this link and I go to the university, here's the university's website. It's all in Serbian. I don't know what any of this says, so that makes it tricky sometimes to assess assess the credibility of the credentials of the authors. So that's a challenge that I found, and I can show you here too. Like I said, I have a fairly good amount of articles, but they're all from other places of the world. So if I go to my filters and narrow that down to just the articles that were written in the US, I'm gonna apply that filter, and it's gonna narrow it down to 28 articles. So there's not a lot out there for this topic, it looks like. So yeah, it's I'm not sure why that is. It might be that it's new to people because there's more interest now maybe in how AI affects education, or maybe there's just not enough interest in researching this topic. But the next website that I wanted to show was this Google Scholar, which I also know a lot of people know. Excuse me. And I typed the kind of the same idea on the Google Scholar database, and I click on peer review, and I kind of like this one better for a few reasons. One, I feel like it's more simplistic. It's there. It shows me a few things, and I can very easily save it into my folders on Google Scholar. I can very easily save any article. So, and then the other thing too is that it gives me more articles, which in a way it makes me think that is less selective than the university's database. But I found a few that I think are useful here. And if I click on that, it's gonna send me here, And then what I wanted to show you too was the website that I just talked about. It's also here, but I can see this. Generally I can find somewhere the affiliations of the authors. This one is from Africa, from this university. It's from the College of Education, from that university. And then if I click on the author too, like I said, it's not always perfect, but it's gonna give me some idea that yes, this person is from, it's working in some of the places that it says it's working elsewhere. So yeah, I can verify that. This one doesn't says whether he, or well, yeah, whether this person is from that university, but yeah, it basically says it's right here on the journal's website. Now I can also access that. The other thing I wanted to show you is that if I get a sense that not all of these articles are good, or they might not have they might not be peer review or academic journals, or I just don't trust all the sites that Google Scholar is sending me to. I can also set it up so that it links, as you can see on the first one. I can open that from I can see that on the UMass Lowell database, and yeah, I basically am accessing this from the database, so it's telling me it's also there, so I can open it from there. So those are a few of the reasons why I like this one, and that's what I've been doing for finding articles for my project. Where's this? Yeah. So the way the last thing I mentioned, the way you would set that up is you will go to Library Link settings and type the university's name, and then you select that and add it to the databases on Google Scholar. So I selected the UMass Lowell library, so that's my default. So whenever I type or look for an article, it'll show me which ones I can access from the school's database. So yeah, that's basically how I've been finding articles, how I've been finding resources and trying to check them out. And like I said, my main challenge right now, I think, is that the vast majority of articles are from other places. They're not from the U.S., and sometimes it can be tricky to find the author's credentials.